Hello folks, welcome back. Today I've got my friend's 928 Honda Snowblower. He wants me to service it for him. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect it with you people. I'm going to inspect it and show you how I inspect a machine before it's serviced and find out different issues the machine may have and point them out. So a good shop will do this, a good mechanic will do this when you bring your Honda to a shop, especially if you need a some kind of accurate estimate of what kind of work it needs. So let's get started. Okay, first thing I do is check the augers in the bucket area. I took the shear pin out of here. I want to make sure it spins freely. This one does spin, but it doesn't spin very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bolt out here, spray some lubricating, penetrating oil in there, and get this to spin freely. This one still has the pin in it. I'm going to take the pin out, do the same thing. Let's see, this blade is slightly bent. I'm going to have to bend that back. I check the sides of the bucket, make sure they're not pushed in. Usually you see that on the smaller machines. They might be bent in here. Then I go in here, I look around. This has a brace for the auger. And I'll straighten out any dents in the bucket. I'm just looking overall. I'm looking at the blade, the housing guard. You see how it's thinner over here, much thinner than this side. It's wider in the middle. I'm not sure if this is going to have to be replaced. Okay. So this is what I do. I got the machine laid back on its handlebars. It's just easier for me to work on instead of bending over, going on my knees or whatever. So let's go to the next position that I'm going to use in my inspection. Okay, now I've got the machine up on its nose, and I can do a lot of inspecting from this area. I'm looking underneath the handlebars. Let's see, I was moving the clutches. I was moving the clutches here, and it's very, very tight, very hard to move. I don't think this machine's been serviced in many years. It's going to need some penetrating oil or lubrication oil in the clutches. Both sides are hard to move, so I'm going to have to adjust. I'm going to have to lubricate these clutches. I'm looking at the cables underneath here where they connect underneath, and their cables are good. I'd be looking for splayed cables. And I also lubricate in there. Here's your lockdown for your auger lockdown. I'll make sure it locks down as it should. I'll throw some lubrication in here. I'll throw some light grease in here. I'm just looking at the underneath. I can check I'll take the bowl off the carburetor and the sentiment cup and make sure there's no rust and corrosion in there. If I have to do an in-frame cleaning, I can without removing the carburetor. Here's the height adjustment pedal. I'll check that. I'll make sure the springs are okay. I'll throw some grease in the slots here and make sure that it doesn't that it locks in place. It's got two places to lock. Make sure it locks in place, doesn't pop out. I can check overall condition of the tracks. I can adjust the tracks if necessary right here. I'm looking for cracks in the tracks. And if I see a crack, I want to see how much it's grown. These tracks are pretty good. Usually when it cracks here, it might grow over time and then split, and then you'll need a new track. I'm also looking at the pins and making sure that they're OEM Honda pins. Coming down here, I'm looking at the auger brake, making sure that the auger brake snaps back as it should. If I want to, I can put it, well, I'll probably put a grease zerk in the final drive gearbox and pump in some new grease. I'm looking down here. Holy mackerel, this is nice. This is the first time I looked at this machine. It's a 928. I don't know how old it is, but you can see that the housing guard has never been adjusted. So it can be adjusted down a little bit, but the owners kept the skid shoes properly adjusted. And you can tell because there's no damage down here. Usually I see curled up metal, split metal. It's all curled up because it's been scraping on the asphalt. I'm going to have to commend my friend here because he did a very nice job. This is a very nice bucket. It's not worn down too much on the sides, a little bit. But that's really, really nice. That makes me very happy. So you can do a lot of inspection points in this position. Now, I can also check the recoil. If I have to take the cover off to lubricate the spring, this is the easiest way to do it. I can check and make sure that it snaps back, okay? Let's put it back on the ground. So in this position, you know, all the cables can be lubricated. You can pull the boots off here and spray some cable and chain lube down the holes for the cables. So I'll do that also. I can check the hydrostatic oil level. I already checked the oil level for the engine. When I first brought it over, I ran it. You know, I always run it and check all the functions first before I do anything else. I check the oil, start it up, see how easy it is to start up, and then warm it up a little bit, and then start working everything. The forward and reverse, the height adjustment pedal, making sure it's locked in, checking the augers and everything. So I want to check all the running functions of the machine. And as I go along, I make notes. If I see something, you know, that needs addressing other than normal maintenance points, you know, I'll write it down. Like if the carburetor is leaking gas, or, you know, there was a trouble starting it, and, you know, I know it's going to need an in-frame carb cleaning, or something that's unusual, something that's broken, something that's cracked that needs welding. I make little notes on that so I don't forget, okay? Because it might take me several days to go through this machine. So in this position here, starting up here, I'm checking my handles and my cable adjustments. There's very little play, so that looks good. But I'll check the cable adjustments. You can see the spark plug is probably the original spark plug. It's got all kinds of rust on it, so of course I'm gonna take it out and inspect the spark plug. I unplugged it. You know, when I'm working around the belts and around the augers, I pull the boot off for safety reasons. So I'm gonna replace the plug. If I have to do any carburetor work, this all has to come off, which is pretty easy. This is really loose. My chute is really loose. Let me see if it has the bushing in it. Yeah, it has the bushing. It's really loose. That's not a big deal. I'll just take these keepers off and bend them down on the ends here and tighten it up and put just a tiny bit of light grease, here and on the teeth. You don't want to put too much because it attracts a lot of dirt and then makes it harder to move. Okay, I'm checking the belts. I checked the auger belt. You can pull the auger belt along. I'm feeling underneath. I'm feeling for cracks and cuts. Let me see. I was looking at this earlier. This auger belt looks fairly new. It's in really nice condition. Then I did the same thing for the inside dry belt, and I felt a bunch of cuts and everything. And so it's going to have to be replaced. So I cut it with a pair of shears and pull it out, and you can see how damaged this belt is. All the damage is on the underside, of course, you see. Now, I don't know why they didn't replace the dry belt when the auger belt was replaced. You have to remove the bucket for the auger belt, but I'm only going to have to replace the dry belt, and I can do that without removing the bucket. It only takes me about 15-20 minutes. I've done so many of them. I had a video on it. If you're interested, you can go on the channel and type in how to replace the dry belt without removing the bucket, okay? If you want to learn that. This dry belt usually will go out before the auger belt. So I checked that. So that's something I have to do. This is electric start. So I got to check the electric start, which I haven't done yet. On the older machines, you plug in a extension cord and push the button for the electric start. So I want to make sure that works. I checked inside the fuel tank, make sure there's no rust. And then I go through the frame. I look through the frame and I make sure there's no cracks. Sometimes there's cracks in here. Very rarely. You might see that on the older machines. I made sure there's no cracks at the handlebars. They usually crack right there. So I check for cracks on the handlebars also. And I check down here where the lower bars connect to the frame, to the bed frame. Sometimes they're cracked right there. Doesn't happen very often, folks, but when it does, it's a pain. Got to remove the engine and everything to weld them up. And then after I get all done, I check the light, of course. When I get all done with everything, then I'll change the oil. So that's pretty much my inspection before a service. It only takes like 10 minutes to go through the machine. I may find more stuff as I dig into it. Sometimes I do, but it's really important for me to inspect it thoroughly before I service it, so I can tell the owner, I says, look, you didn't know this, but the belt's no good. I'm going to have to change the belt. I might have to change a cable. There might be hidden problems that are not obvious to you, the owner. So it's really, really good to do an inspection and make notes as you go along so you don't forget. And I always inspect the machine the same way every time. I start with the augers and I work, and then I put it up on the nose and I look underneath everything, and then I put it back on the ground and inspect everything else. It's easier for me to remember everything. I used to have a list, and then after I've done a couple dozen services, I've done over 400 now. I just do it the same way every time. It just makes it a lot easier, folks. So I just wanted to show you inspection before a service. I hope this helps you. Please like and subscribe if you think this could save you some money. But do it yourself. Thank you a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.